Is done, and you're going to hear some things about Stephanopoulos and his Nancy Mace incident that you're not going to hear anywhere else. So buckle up. Here we go.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome to the program. It is Monday, March 11th, 2024. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, and we've got a lot to cover. Nancy Mace, the great Nancy Mace, no, not Grace, Mace, Nancy Mace, has ended the career of George Stephanopoulos on his Sunday interview with her, as he bullied and shamed a rape survivor, Nancy Mace. And George Stephanopoulos, no one's going to be talking about what I'm going to share with you right now about George Stephanopoulos, because I know all about George Stephanopoulos. And very few people do, and those who do don't want to share what I'm going to share with you about George Stephanopoulos, because Nancy Mace has endorsed Trump, so they are going to destroy her. But George Stephanopoulos has spent his entire life shaming sex assault victims, and I'm not kidding. He began his career doing it, and now at the end, he's going to end his career shaming sex assault survivors. I'm going to get into that as this goes on. I am not kidding. And I am not exaggerating. So, getting to what happened over the weekend with Stephanopoulos and Nancy Mace, and then I'll get into the other things I'm referencing that no one's going to talk about. George Stephanopoulos and his team over at ABC did something sick, twisted, sleazy, and just one of the scummiest things I've ever seen in the Washington, D.C. media. They have this obsession with E. Jean Carroll, who's a complete loon, okay? And and there's one thing I don't understand about this E. Jean Carroll defamation case against the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. Why is he in trouble for defaming her, saying things about her, but she can accuse him of rape without any witnesses, without any evidence? She can't even say what year it happened in, and of course the Law and Order SVU episode that it was ripped from. Why is it okay for her to call him a rapist, but if he says something about her, he owes her like $1 quadrillion? He's MAGA. Oh, he's standing up to the establishment. Oh, I get it, yeah. But anyway, what Stephanopoulos did, on the face of it, was sick, twisted, and just disgusting. So he wants to Stephanopoulos, like all these other Democrats, give credibility to this lunatic E. Jean Carroll. And if you notice, they don't have her on TV too much anymore, because every time she goes on TV, she looks like a nut job, because she is a nut job. And Nancy Mace was raped when she was 16 years old. Can you imagine? 16 years old. So Stephanopoulos and his team of creeps brought Nancy Mace on to rape victim shamer, which is a high crime in liberal circles, right? And try to use her rape against her because she's discounted E. Jean Carroll. And again, remember, in the E. Jean Carroll case, she couldn't say what year it happened, there's no witnesses, etc., etc. And by the way, it was not a criminal case where, you're judged by a jury of your peers. It was a civil case, which has a much lower standard. In jury decisions in civil cases, you don't need a unanimous, you only need a majority opinion. And that's also, and the evidence, there's a much lower bar. as well, but it's also in one of these New York Jersey. So I want to play this. And this is George Stephanopoulos. I'll play the beginning of this. This is George Stephanopoulos with rape survivor, rape victim, and Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Okay, and Stephanopoulos, this is yesterday.
Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning. I know you've endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and 2 separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape. How do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw?
Well, I will tell you, I was raped at the age of 16. And any rape victim will tell you, I've lived for 30 years with an incredible amount of shame over being raped. I didn't come forward because of that judgment and shame that I felt. And it's a shame that you will never feel, George. And I'm not going to sit here on your show and be asked a question meant to shame me about another potential rape victim. I'm not gonna do that.
It's actually not about shaming you. It's a question about Donald Trump.
No, you are shaming me.
You've endorsed Donald Trump for president.
Right.
Donald Trump has been found liable for rape by a jury. Donald Trump has been found liable for defaming the victim of that rape by a jury. It's been affirmed by a judge.
It was not a criminal court case, number one. Number two, I live with shame. And you're asking me a question about my political choices, trying to shame me as a rape victim, and I find it disgusting.
Yeah, in fact, Stephanopoulos and his team of low-life creeps, they brought her on because she is a rape survivor. And they, you know why there's no sympathy towards Nancy Mace by Stephanopoulos and the left? Now, some of you may not agree with this statement, but I think if you think about it, those of you that don't agree with what I'm going to say, if you think about this, later today you'll agree with me. Democrats believe that Republican women who were raped because they don't support abortion and they support Republicans like Donald Trump, that they deserve to be assaulted, okay? That they brought it upon themselves. It's true.
Quite frankly, E. Jean Carroll's comments when she did get the judgment, joking about what she was going to buy, it makes it harder for women to come forward when they make a mockery out of rape, when they joke about it.
Doesn't it make it harder for women to come forward when they...
It makes it harder when other women joke about it, and she's joked about it. I find it offensive. And I also find it offensive that you're trying to shame me with this question.
I'm not trying to shame you.
Well,
In fact,
I have dealt with this for 30 years. You know how hard it was to tell my story 5 years ago when they were doing a fetal heartbeat bill and there were no exceptions for rape, incest, or rape or incest in there? I had to tell my story because no other woman was coming forward. No rape victims were represented. And you're trying...
And look how he's battering a rape victim here. Can you imagine the trauma? Can you imagine the trauma? Right now, what's going on with Nancy Mace, she's being battered by this midget. Do you know, this is not, this is true. Do you know that they built special chairs at ABC so that I'm not kidding, so that he didn't look so short, so his legs weren't. She's being battered by this midget, Stephanopoulos, and what's going on with her is that trauma, that rape is being relived in her mind right now, and he doesn't care because Trump and E. Jean Carroll.
This morning.
I'm just asking.
And I find it offensive, and this is why women won't come forward.
Women won't come forward because they're defamed by those who perpetrate rape.
They are judged and they're shamed, and you're trying to shame me this morning. I think it's disgusting.
I'm not shaming you at all.
I told my story. It took me 25 years to tell my story. I was judged for it. I still get judged for it today.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
And I answered it. You're shaming me for my political choices.
I'm asking you a question about why you endorse someone who's been found liable for rape.
It was not a criminal court. This was
a civil court.
It was a civil.
And what the freak is this libel for rape? I've never heard such a thing before until this lunatic, goes to court in New York against Trump. This is not some criminal conviction. I mean, libel is like what I hear in newspapers.
Joked about the judgment and what she was going to do with all that money, and I find that offensive.
I'm asking you
but as a rape victim who's been shamed for years now because of her rape, you're trying to shame me again by asking me this political question.
You've repeated that again.
I think it's offensive. As a woman, I find it offensive. My political choices, I've endorsed the man that I believe is best for our country. It's not Joe Biden. And you looked at the dueling rallies yesterday in Georgia. Lincoln Riley's family was with Donald Trump. They weren't with Joe Biden. The same guy yesterday that apologized for calling her killer an illegal, who wasn't illegal. And here you are trying to shame a rape victim. I find it disgusting.
I mean, you keep saying I'm shaming you.
You are. The question, it is.
How is the question asking you about a presidential candidate who's
You're
been
asking a rape victim.
And there's no question about that. And you've courageously talked about that.
Because I've been raped. I think that's disgusting.
No, I'm questioning your political choices because you're supporting
me. You're
someone
trying
who's
to
been
shame
found
me.
liable for rape.
And she, this shame thing is kind of like a liberal thing generally, but it is true. He's trying to shame her by forcing her to relive the trauma of her violent rape when she was 16 years old, to try to get her to say something that they can use to give credibility to this cat lady, E. Jean Carroll.
Actually, I'm not trying to...
You are. That's exactly
what you're doing. You're not answering the question.
I think it's disgusting.
Well, you're welcome to say that, but you also have to answer the question. Why are you supporting someone who's been found liable for rape?
What do you mean you have to answer? Who the freak do you think you are, Tyrion Lannister here? You have to answer the question. This is not a witness stand in a court of law.
Just answered your question.
What is the answer?
He was not found guilty in a criminal court of law. It was sexual abuse. It wasn't actually rape, by the way. And E. Jean Carroll joked about all the money she's going to get and made a mockery out of this case. And I think that's offensive. There's a reason why women don't come forward. And when you have someone who says that they're raped and they make a mockery out of this civil court judgment, it's offensive to other women. It makes it harder for other women to come forward when another woman has made a mockery of it.
You said women don't come forward because they are afraid. They are afraid
They're
because
judged and shamed.
by those
You're
who
trying to shame me this morning.
They are afraid to come forward, as you said, because they are defamed by those who commit the rape. That's what Donald Trump has been found guilty of doing.
He defended himself over that and denies that it ever happened, but he was not found guilty in a criminal court of law. It was a civil judgment.
So is that the distinction you're making? A civil judgment is okay, but a criminal judgment is not?
This is different, and they didn't even input all of the evidence into the civil case either, because some of the information she provided wasn't even accurate or correct. But to sit here and ask me as a rape victim to try to shame me for my political choices is wrong, and I think it's offensive.
You can repeat that again and again.
And I'm going to because I find it deeply offensive.
You don't find it offensive that Donald Trump has been found liable for rape?
I find it offensive as a rape victim that you're trying to shame me for my political choices. And I've said again repeatedly, E. Jean Carroll has made a mockery out of rape by joking about it. I don't find that funny.
Well,
rape is not funny.
Remember, E. Jean Carroll said rape is sexy to Anderson Cooper. Remember that?
Perfectly
serious.
You've made it perfectly clear. You're
Rape
comfortable.
is serious.
It is
It's
serious.
not funny, and it shouldn't be made a mockery of. But if you want to defend a woman who made a mockery out of rape, then you go ahead and do that. I'm not going to do that.
Well, actually, what you're doing is defending a man who's been found liable for rape. I don't understand.
Liable for rape.
Criminal court of law. This was a civil judgment over sexual abuse, not rape, by the way, and she made a mockery out of it.
Can we pull up the Washington Post headline right there? In fact, it has been shown.
Oh, the Woodward and Bernstein's paper.
Fact, rape. Donald Trump was found to have committed rape. That's just a fact.
That is a civil judgment, not a criminal court. They're two very different things, and you know better.
Well, I just showed you the facts.
You know better.
You showed that you're very comfortable with what Donald Trump has done.
And what you've done is offensive to women who've been raped. What you've done this morning is offensive.
We'll let the view about that.
Yeah, the viewers will decide. Okay, now when we take a break, I'm going to come back and tell you something about this little scummy midget, George Stephanopoulos, and how he's made an entire career, his entire adult life has been spent shaming sex assault victims. He's a millionaire many times over because he began his career shaming sex assault victims. No one's going to tell you about this today because they're either liberal, they hate Trump, or they're stupid and don't know. You think Clay Aiken over there and knows this with Buck Sexton? What I'm going to tell you, he does not. All right, we're going to take our first break of the week and be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, like the video if you don't mind. That helps a lot. This is disgusting. These are sick, twisted people. Sick, twisted. You could see when Nancy Mace is talking that trauma is coming back to her.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977.
Oh, man. Pretty disgusting. This whole thing. These are just disgusting people. They are. They're disgusting people. I'll be back shortly. This is the last commercial.
Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day, the buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely.
I cannot believe it's March 11th already.
I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879.
There we go.
Promo code Kane.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Free shipping continues at mypillow.com and on all items site-wide with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. And I just checked right before I went on the air at 6, and it is still in effect. The free shipping will end without notice, okay? So it's free shipping site-wide, no matter how small, no matter how large, no matter how heavy the order. Free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Plus you get the special deal on whatever item you buy as well. All right, so George Stephanopoulos, you can hear, when Nancy Mace is talking, you can hear the trauma that she's experiencing that's being thrust upon her by this pig, George Stephanopoulos, who's rape-shaming her, who's victim-shaming her, who's putting the scarlet letter on her, right? There's scarlet letters, MAGA, he's putting all over her. Now, this is what no one else is going to talk about today. George Stephanopoulos' claim to fame is his work on President Clinton's first presidential campaign. He was the spokesperson for Bill Clinton's campaign the first time he ran. He went on to be the White House spokesperson when Bill Clinton was elected. And then later he became senior advisor to Bill Clinton. And he had a special job when Bill Clinton was running for president. Women were coming forward. When he was president, women came forward. Jennifer Flowers, Paula Jones in particular. Paula Jones was assaulted, physically and sexually assaulted by the Attorney General of Arkansas, the governor of Arkansas, Bill Clinton. Gave her a bloody lip, said put some ice on that. Remember that? And with George Stephanopoulos' job, it wasn't a solo job. He was part of a team. It was a 3-member team. And this team that was put together, this 3-member team, was made up of George Stephanopoulos, James Carville, and Hillary Clinton. This was during President Clinton's first run for president when he won, 1993, and it continued into his first term. And George Stephanopoulos, James Carville, and Mrs. Clinton, what their job was to discount women, to destroy the lives of women who came forward and said that they were sexually assaulted, raped, victimized, used, and abused by President Clinton. Paula Jones, when Paula Jones came forward, now a lot of people look back at these things and think it's no big deal. Well, it is a big deal. It was a bigger deal publicly back then because we didn't have presidential candidates and presidents like Bill Clinton that were assaulting women, raping women. Okay? Paula Jones came forward and said she was assaulted and beaten up by Bill Clinton. George Stephanopoulos, she gave an interview. George Stephanopoulos made sure that interview did not air on television. He called up Tim Russert, who was the managing editor of NBC News, famous for Meet the Press, but he was the managing editor of NBC News. Stephanopoulos called Russert up personally. They knew each other because they had worked for, both had worked for Cuomo, the father of these two jerks that we got now when he was governor. So they knew each other from the Cuomo days. So Stephanopoulos, he called up Tim Russert and got Tim Russert not to air Paula Jones' interview detailing her sexual assault and physical assault by Bill Clinton. Then when that was done, he picked up the phone and called the head of CNN and did the same thing. Got her interview not to be aired on CNN. Now, we didn't have all this other stuff. There was no internet. There was no social media. There was no Fox. There was no MSNBC. Nothing. That was it. NBC, CNN. He killed the Paula Jones story. Now, Jennifer Flowers was the first woman who came forward. She was a hairdresser, remember, in Arkansas? She came forward and said that she had a multi-year affair with Bill Clinton. And let me tell you, we had Jennifer Flowers in studio at the radio station we were at then, and I got to tell you, she was a knockout, beautiful woman. On TV, if you look back at those old videos in 1993, she looks kind of, Now, in person, oh my goodness, I was blown away. Everybody was. There was one guy at the station who was gay, and he was talking about how beautiful she was. I couldn't believe it. He's like, I'm gay. I'm serious. But anyway, Paula Jones came forward. Jennifer Flowers came forward and had a press conference, big deal, and said that she had a multi-year affair with Bill Clinton. She detailed everything. And she had something that was really good. She had tapes of phone conversations between her and Bill Clinton and played the tapes during the press conference. Any of you remember that? George Stephanopoulos, part of this team with James Carville and Hillary Clinton, came forward and said that the tapes were edited. The tapes were doctored. Now, back then, there was no computer editing like we got now. You had to do everything on reel-to-reel tapes, and editing had to be done with razor blades and stuff like this. I learned how to do that back then because that's how we did it. I don't know if I could still do it. He accused her of editing these tapes of these conversations between her and Bill Clinton. In fact, she sued him later on for defamation over it. And when these women came forward, there was a phrase. I know we're late for the break, but I'll finish this, then we'll break. And if you're on hold, hang in there. When these women, Paula Jones, Jennifer Flowers, and Juanita Broderick, and then later there were many others, came forward about Bill Clinton, there was a term that people started using called Bimbo Eruption. Bimbo Eruption. You remember Bimbo Eruption? You ever heard that before with Bill Clinton? You know where that term came from? George Stephanopoulos, James Carville, and Hillary Clinton's little team, the little cell, to shame victims of Bill Clinton's rapes and sex assaults and abuse. They came up with Bimbo Eruption. They put it out there in the media, and boom, you can probably find it today in the biographies to discount the women who would come forward and accuse Bill Clinton of things. Bimbo Eruption. They came out with another thing, George Stephanopoulos, Carville, and Hillary Clinton. When Paula Jones came out and talked about her sexual and physical assault by Bill Clinton, you take a $100 bill through a trailer park, you come out with Paula Jones. Remember that? That was Stephanopoulos, Carville, and Hillary Clinton. So George Stephanopoulos began his career in 1993 shaming women who were sexually assaulted, who were raped, who were physically and emotionally abused by a man, and now here he is victim shaming again. All these years later. He's a pig. He's a disgusting human being, George Stephanopoulos. And what I just shared with you, if Rush were around still, he would detail this because, but I don't think most people in media even know what I just told you. But I was there and I lived through it and I remember it clearly. Paula Jones's press conference and interview, she was with a friend of mine and friend of Steve's, the Reverend Pat Mahoney. If you guys look up Reverend Pat Mahoney, okay? We had a connection with Paula Jones through Reverend Pat Mahoney. You can look all this stuff up. I gave you all. You can do your Googling. But the other people in media don't either they don't know what I just shared about this pig George Stephanopoulos who's trending on Twitter. Everyone's talking about this. No one. They either don't know about it or they're covering it up. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's Monday. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Well, all this stuff that I shared puts perspective in what a scummy, I'll say it, what a scummy low-life asshole George Stephanopoulos is. You got a woman there who's been raped, and you interrogate her like he did? Disgusting. Did you guys see my video of going to vote yesterday for President Trump? Oh my goodness.
Just sit back.
These are really low-life people. I'm not done. I'm not done. This guy, ABC News and George Stephanopoulos are just, that is just sick, twisted, perverted. I mean, he could have triggered something in Nancy Mace. Who talks to a rape victim that way? A Democrat, that's who. All right, coming back.
2326 1-877-275-2326.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show. Celebrating 47 years.
All right, call us on hold standby. I'm not done yet. Our number, by the way, if you want to call in, and when we get to the calls, you'll be there. 1-888-465-2631. So, you know, this victim shaming that Stephanopoulos and ABC News did to Nancy Mace, just disgusting. You know, they say, oh, Trump's got a suburban woman problem, which, first of all, is not true. That's just some crap they made up. Here you've got a leading Democrat operative, George Stephanopoulos, who just shamed the victim of a violent rape on television and thinks he did something good. He's so sick and twisted. Then you have this senile old coot, Joe Biden, who goes on TV over the weekend and apologizes to a murderer of a 22-year-old college student, Laken Riley. Did this monster that killed Laken Riley rape her? That's why he grabbed her. The police said it was a crime of opportunity. If he didn't rape her, it's only because she fought to the death to prevent it. So Biden goes and talks to this Jonathan Capehart, goes and talks to Jonathan Capehart, and this is not an exaggeration. He goes to Jonathan Capehart, Joe Biden, and apologizes to a murderer.
Look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented.
I shouldn't use illegal. I shouldn't use illegal. Well, maybe he shouldn't have snatched her and killed her. How about that? How about that? Why not tell us how this murder of this college student, by the way, President Trump met with the mother, family, and best friend of Laken Riley. The best friend is who called police when she didn't return home. And Joe Biden goes on NBC News to apologize to the murderer for having offended him.
And notice the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing, we have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. He's apologizing to a murderer, maybe a rapist murderer. The two worst crimes that can be committed, rape and murder. This guy did them both, or at least he was trying to do the first. And the President of the United States apologizes to a rapist murderer. Can't even say the name of the victim properly. And only did when he was embarrassed into doing it by the great Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm going to go through what he said in reverse, though. He said they built this country. See, this is a major change with Democrat talking points, because my entire life I've been hearing from Democrats that the slaves built this country, which is nonsense. The country wasn't built on agriculture. It helped. I mean, you got to have it, but no. But anyway, they've been saying that slaves built the country. Now it's illegal immigrants built the country? What the hell did they build? Lawn crews? In my neighborhood? What's he talking? See what they're doing? They're confusing legal and illegal immigrants. Everyone in America is the descendant of an immigrant. Even most people who claim to be Indians, because most Indians are not really Indians, okay? There are real Indians, okay? But even they're descendant of immigrants. Came from Asia. Remember, they don't teach this anymore. The land bridge from Asia into Alaska. That's where the Indians came from. They're not indigenous. The only people I know of that are indigenous to the lands they inhabit are the Jews. And I know this because the Bible tells us so, all right? But, regardless of this, so he says illegal immigrants built this country. Then this poison of the blood that Trump talks about. He's talking about the fentanyl that the illegals are bringing in here, and everyone knows it. Now, I was talking about this on YouTube yesterday morning, and I said this then, and I've had a whole nother day to think about it, and I'm going to throw this out to you. This apology, which I'm going to play again later, not now. This apology by Joe Biden to a murderer rapist, illegal. As far as I can rack my brain, this is the most outrageous, disgusting comment any president of the United States has ever made, in my lifetime at least. Let's stick from Franklin Roosevelt until today. When have you heard a president of the United States say something the equivalent or close to apologizing for having defended a rapist murderer? I can't think of anything. This is the most disgusting moment in presidential history right here with this guy. And I'll say this about that. That didn't just happen. State of the Union was Thursday. He said illegal because of MTG. So Friday, they have an emergency meeting, the Democrats, in the Situation Room of the White House would be my guess. Biden wasn't there. He's checked out. Who was in the meeting? Jean-Pierre, Kirby, absolutely. Jill Biden, guessing. Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski, and on Zoom, Barack Obama. Joe called this rapist murderer of Lake and Riley an illegal. What are we going to do? He's supposed to say newcomer. He wasn't even supposed to talk about it, and he did it. What are we going to do? And this team of experts that's running this country, okay, they thought the best course of action was for Biden to go on NBC News and apologize to a killer rapist for having offended him. Who's their constituents? Who are the Democrats representing today? Illegal Venezuelan rapist murderers, it would seem, and their allies. But Trump's got a problem with women? Are you kidding? You got Stephanopoulos. You got this thing with Biden. The Palestinian terrorist led by the Biden-funded Iran go to a music festival, kidnap girls, rape girls, kill girls, take them back as sex slaves. And he's giving help to the terrorists that did it, Biden. But Trump's got a problem with this is insanity. I can't even believe this, that I'm talking about this. It's hard to believe it's happened, these things I'm sharing today. All right, we'll take our last break of the first hour. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
These are just sick freaking people, man.
Brian Craig here. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit, and HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
Cruising boats, fishing boats, super yachts. Find them all at the Palm Beach International Boat Show. Climb aboard the perfect boat for your lifestyle and save with boat show pricing and incentives. Palm Beach International Boat Show, March 21st through 24th. PP
Coming back.
Now this.
All right, now, if you're waking up on this Monday morning in pain, you need to go see Dr. Philip Appleton. Talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment. And, you can just walk right in when he opens up this morning, because with Dr. Appleton, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, because Dr. Appleton understands when you're in pain, you need, oh, by the way, that's if you're a new patient, too. You don't have to be an already patient. Because Dr. Appleton knows that when you're in pain, you need help, you need relief, you need it now. Walk-ins are welcome. Appointments are not necessary, even for first-time patients. His laser wave pain treatment works, guys. I've been telling you about it for a year and a half. Works on so many different types of pain. He rid me of my years of suffering from my knee pain. He rid me of my arthritis pain. I've injured my shoulder a couple of times. He rid me of that. I mean, he's absolutely amazing. The laser wave pain treatment works. And, what it does, it repairs the damage that's causing the pain. That's why the pain doesn't return. There are no injections, no downtime, no drugs, and it's 100% painless. Here's his number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. How you doing? This is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
I can feel your pain coming through this screen. I can feel your anger coming through the screen, and I am too. This young lady was brutally murdered by this illegal immigrant, not legal to be here. That man in the Oval Office, not even going to call his name, because I am sick to my stomach. You go out there and apologize to an illegal immigrant and just...
Who killed a 22-year-old kid and stole her whole life. No children, no family, no career, everything. And Biden's apologizing to the killer. He doesn't want to offend the killer.
But you know what? I was not surprised. I knew he was going to do it, because that's the type of stuff they do.
No, because you gotta weigh things out here. This one actually is surprising. Because this Jonathan Capehart interview was a scripted interview to do damage control. If he would have said this off the cuff, walking onto Air Force One or something, I'd say, oh well, he's out of it. But this was a prepared thing that Obama and the whole team that are running this country they've got this new constituency, illegals. And for those who think that the replacement theory is not, why are they catering so hard to illegal criminals like this murderer who probably raped, or at least was trying? I mean, think about it. I've never heard of a president. Now, listen, we've had good presidents and bad presidents. Presidents have done and said things. I've never heard a president say something like that.
That's why I wasn't saying that I wasn't shocked. But I just said something's going to happen, because when he said that, when Montague Green forced him to say her name at the State of the Union, and I knew something was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what it was going to be, but I knew something was going to take place that forced Barack Obama to make him come back out there and apologize. And we are being run by crooks and fools. And it's so disgraced. I am so angry that this man went out and did what he did. And that's just...
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Yesterday I went and voted. Early voting has begun in Florida. I voted in the Republican primary for President Trump yesterday, and and that helps. That helps. I mean, it's a little bit of a treatment for the sickness that we're suffering through right now. But that's what we can do. Everyone turn out. We need to have overwhelming numbers. When I went to vote yesterday, all these losers are on the ballot: Hutchinson, Christie, DeSantis, Nikki Haley, all the people that dropped out are on the ballot. So, I mean, they've all dropped out. What are they? And here's the thing, okay? Now, I vote in Palm Beach County, and maybe it's different in your county. I don't know. But I don't want to hear any BS that they printed up the ballots already and it's too late. It was electronic voting. I voted on an electronic touchscreen. So with electronic voting, you're telling me they couldn't take all these people? Some of them dropped out months ago. Asa Hutchinson, I couldn't believe he was there.
That's what someone else was talking about, that they still got these people on the ballots. For what reason, I don't know. And I just said because they still want to try to.
Yeah, they want to lessen his victory. They want to try to lessen his victory.
Yes. But I'm not happy about this.
I'm not either. No, I'm not either.
I'm going to send a message right now before I get off. I want the Democrats, the people that voted for Democrats, look at yourself. Take a hard look at yourself before you go to that ballot and vote. Take a look at yourself. If you don't change course, you're going right down into the rat hole that they spirit on this nation.
That's right. All right. That's right. All right, Maria, thank you so much. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, you look at that whole Clinton administration, crooks and evil people, and you know all those three people you named earlier, Mrs. Clinton, Stephanopoulos, or as some people would call him, Snuffleupagus, and of course the Raging Cajun from down here from Louisiana, you know, and what they did with those women, including Juanita Broderick and Linda Tripp and all these people, you know, that's just plain evil, you know.
George Stephanopoulos has spent his entire adult life elevating himself by shaming victims of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and physical abuse. He started it with Clinton, and now he did it over the weekend. He's a pig. Thanks for the call, Mike. I appreciate it. By the way, Louisiana, where I'm at, is up there, not down there. You're north of me. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is John from Wisconsin.
Hey, John.
Well, you know what everybody's not seeing is he's shaming a 16-year-old minor rape victim, is what George Stephanopoulos.
Oh, you're talking about with Nancy Mace. She was 16 or 15 when she was raped.
And it's even worse. I mean, you know, they don't add that to it. You know, and that's even worse.
Oh, yeah.
A vermin, in my opinion.
A total monster. A total monster. And a midget.
Yep. He just kept it up with his hit, trying to get that sound clip over and over and over, and he would not quit. I was like flabbergasted.
You know, there's certain things you don't do. Like, I had a call once from this liberal old lady who was giving me a lot of grief, and I was giving her some grief back, and then she was like panicked, so she told me she was a Holocaust survivor. I asked one or two questions that proved she was, and when she told me when she was a Holocaust, I backed off because I don't batter Holocaust survivors. Okay, right? Yeah, I don't batter Holocaust survivors. That she was a nasty Democrat. I'm here to tell you, it's called class. It's called being a gentleman. This guy's made. Yeah, go.
CNN and media with that exchange that went on with George Stephanopoulos, they never will.
That's right.
It was horrifying. It really was.
It was horrifying. Thank you for the call. We're out of time for the hour. 1 hour down, 2 to go. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by. 1-888-465-2631. Back after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miracle.
You know, guys, call me up. I want to hear what you think about what Stephanopoulos did to Nancy Mace and this disgusting thing that Biden did with the apology.
lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 431. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
South Florida.
Oh, my goodness. These are just disgusting. I mean, I just, that thing with Stephanopoulos and Biden just pissed me off. They just really pissed me off. I can't tell you. I mean, I can't believe. Oh my goodness. We're coming back in seconds, guys. All right, hour number 2 has begun. 6 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Florida's longest running radio show. Our number 1-888-465-2631. I'm going to get back to the important political news, but I am going to share one thing about the Academy Awards, which I did not watch. You know, there were 10 movies nominated for Best Film. I didn't know 10 movies came out last year. I did see Oppenheimer for free on Peacock, you know. Can I say that? I think I can say it if I take off the last letter. Peacock. Didn't say the last letter. It's pretty good. I don't know, Best Picture. It's not Schindler's List, man, all right? It's not Gone with the Wind. Jimmy Kimmel's a pig, okay? And he sucks. He's not funny. He's basically an indentured servant because those videos of him doing blackface years ago came out. Remember when that guy, I can't remember the guy's name, he's a black actor, he was on Law & Order. I used to like this guy. He's on Blackish. He had to come out on the Oscars and he had to apologize to black people. Remember that? And he talked to, it was crazy. But all reports say that Jimmy Kimmel bombed, that it was the worst hosting ever. And that's saying a lot because David Letterman held that title for the last 20 years. He hosted the Oscars, and it was... the only time the Oscars were funny is when Seth MacFarlane hosted. He hosted it once. It was beautiful. I didn't watch it. I went back and watched it because I heard about it. He's very funny. So Jimmy Kimmel was doing a career-ending crash and burn, and everyone in the media is playing this clip that I'm going to share with you, and I heard everyone talking about it early this morning, and they've all missed what happened here, why he did it. So let me play this, and then we'll get back to the important stuff, okay? But this involves the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, so it's important. This is Jimmy Kimmel last night bombing at the Oscars. Hold on, let me turn up the volume. It's the Oscars stuff. I got one soundbite from the Oscars. This is it, I promise.
Doing this show is not about me, and I appreciate you having me. It's really about you and Emma and all these great actors and actresses and filmmakers. But I was told we have like an extra minute, and I'm really proud of something. I was wondering if I could share it with you. I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less-than-average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed-up but cheap ABC talent, George Stephanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again. Okay, now. See if you can guess which former president just posted that on Tuesday. Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still on. Isn't it past your jail time?
Okay. So I'm listening to all these news people they couldn't get through the awards without Trump. They're missing the whole thing. Not only did Jimmy Kimmel, according to every report and every review, it was the worst hosting job in the history of the Oscars. And when David Letterman hosted, they were practically booing him during the Oscars. You remember this? It was just a disaster. And it's being reported by all critics worse than even Letterman. So why did he do this? You know, when Obama was running for president in 2008, I was watching American Idol, and it was like the second or third season. You know, when they had talent on now back then. It was the first or second. It was like it had to be the second season, second or third season, and on American Idol, at least I haven't watched American Idol since then, but back then, if you made it to the final 10, they used to do a concert tour, American Idol concert tour, right? After the show was over. And if you made it to the top 10, you got to go on the concert tour. And that's big money, too. So there's one girl, she's black, which is relevant to the story. She did this performance and just totally bombed. She got ripped by all the judges. Even Paula Abdul said she sucked. So Ryan Seacrest comes up and says, you know, this was the night they were going to decide who made it to the top 10, and she was obviously the worst. So Ryan Seacrest, I talked about this the next day. Ryan Seacrest goes up to her and says, everybody says you blew it tonight. What do you have to say? Now, this was 2008. Obama was running for president. She said, Obama! 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 So what that was the African-American International Sign for Help, SOS, because people would vote and call in. So she figured if she said Obama over and over and over on American Idol, black people would call up and vote for her, and she'd make it to the 10, go on the concert tour, and make all the money. Right? Well, that's what Jimmy Kimmel did. He not only bombed on national television, there were as many as 1,000 watching, I'm sure. Nobody watches this garbage anymore. But he bombed on stage in front of the Hollywood elite, his friends. So he read this post by Donald Trump at the end, like this girl yelling Obama, to bond with these Trump-hating degenerates in the audience, Hollywood, the actors, actresses, and producers. So they'll forget about his performance and bond with him over their Trump derangement syndrome. So pathetic. It was an SOS. It was a desperate cry for help. You sucked. Everybody knows you sucked. You're a no talent, and no one cares about the Oscars. These people, and everybody's missing this. It was just desperate. Desperate. All right, now, I know, this is some rough stuff. Okay, now, on Friday's show, I played for you this with Letitia James. Okay, it was the Fire Department of New York's promotion ceremony. Letitia James was there. She comes on stage. The fire department, the firefighters, boo her and start chanting Trump. Now, we're going to take our break. We're in a new America now. Okay? We're living in a gulag. We're all in a gulag. What's going on? Do you know what's going on? If you guys watch me on YouTube, you know what's going on. But if you don't watch me on YouTube, I mean, do you know what's going on in New York right now over this? You're going to find out after the break. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hi, it's Steve Smith from Will Florio. Our choices for new flooring that better and more diversified. Here at Will Florio, our sales folks can guide you down the right path and lead you to the right floor tailored to you.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about the Oscars. Screw the Oscars. Jimmy Kimmel. That was the most desperate move. The most desperate move of anyone ever on television. This time change is, I like it. This is the time change for me. Oh, we'll get to Katie Britt too again. There's some updates on her. Saturday Night Live hasn't been funny since Phil Hartman left.
FM. Hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at
All right, I want to tell you guys about this incredible free offer from Sloman's. Have you taken advantage of this yet? It's really amazing. The doorbell camera is amazing. It really, truly is. And, today I got in the car. Today's trash day, and I couldn't remember if I took the trash out because I take this morning. And I was sitting in the car in the driveway, and I could have gone inside and checked, and I said, let me pull up the doorbell camera footage and look on my phone, and I saw myself taking the garbage out like an hour and a half before. So oh good, I don't have to go back in the house. It's amazing. Sloman's is giving you a free, which is valued at $1,500, home security system with professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. Now, this is a limited-time total home security package. They give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 10 entry points, a lifetime service plan, professional installation, a backup battery, and a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call. 1-833-283-5050. 833-283-5050, all right? That's 833-283-5050. If you're on hold, stand by. So the firefighters at the promotion ceremony booed Letitia James, right? And then they started chanting Trump. So what's happening? The New York City Fire Commissioner, the New York City Fire Chief, and the Firefighters Union are on a manhunt, I'm not kidding, to identify the firefighters who booed Letitia James, to punish them. Listen to this. I'm not kidding. This is from the Gateway Pundit. It's also reported in the New York Post. There's an update in the New York Post today, but this is from yesterday's Gateway Pundit. Members of the New York Fire Department who booed Letitia James during a recent promotion ceremony are now facing severe consequences. A large group of firefighters made their stance perfectly clear during Thursday's New York Fire Department promotion ceremony. After the fire commissioner, Laura Kavanaugh, they got a lady fire commissioner, and I saw a picture of her. Letitia's speech was effectively drowned out by loud pro-Trump chants and boos in the crowd. Letitia struggles a bit to find her words. Upon beginning her speech, many in the crowd loudly booed Letitia James. This is all because of the lawfare against President Trump, of course. The triggered Attorney General responded, saying, "Come on, we're in a house of God, simmer down." And in response to the incident, the booing and the Trump, in response to the incident, the commissioner of the New York City Fire Department, Laura Kavanaugh, has initiated a hunt. I'm not kidding. A hunt for those responsible for the booing of Letitia James. The chief of the department, John Hodges, sent out an email to department leadership stating that the Bureau of Investigation and Trials is conducting an investigation into the matter. The fire chief urged those involved to come forward voluntarily, implying the consequences would be less severe for those who did not want to be hunted down. He wrote this: the Bureau of Investigations and Trials. That doesn't sound like something in America. That sounds like something in the Soviet Union or North Korea. The Bureau of Investigations and Trials is investigating this. This is the chief of the fire department. They will figure out who the members are. I recommend they come forward. I have been told by the commissioner it will be better for them if they come forward and admit they booed, and that we don't have to hunt them down, the chief wrote in an email. He directs the captains of companies to make a list of those who come forward, send it directly to operations. I realize members might not come forward, but they should know that there is clear video of the entire incident, and they will be contacted by the Bureau of Investigations and Trials if they don't come forward. So they're going through the videos to identify booers and Trump chanters. Now, I don't know how many firefighters are left on the department that were there on 9/11, but I do know this. On 9/11, when everyone was running out of the building, the New York City Fire Department, they were running into the building, those firefighters that everyone else was running out of. And a whole hell of a lot of them died. But booing Letitia, what are they going to do to these guys? Demote them, punish them, fire them, take their pensions away? Send them to some re-education camp somewhere in Siberia? I don't know. What's going on? We got ABC News shaming rape victims. We've got the President of the United States apologizing to rapist murderers. We've got a woman who has this criminal lawfare thing going on, involved in a manhunt for firefighters who dared boo Letitia. Is this America we're in? The United States of America? Or is this Castro's Cuba? Kim Jong-un's North Korea? Stalinist Russia? Hitler's Germany? They got the guys in the leather coats going around. And you know, I'll tell you this. You know, Trump says Marx is communist. You know, in Nazi Germany, in Castro's Cuba, in the Soviet Union, not just illegal to say things negative about government officials, you're a criminal if you heard it and didn't turn them in. So like if you're in Cuba and someone says Castro's a bastard and you don't report them, you're as guilty as the person who said it. So if people don't turn in their brothers and sisters on the department who they heard boo and yell Trump, are they going to be punished by Letitia? Whatever she does, I hope she doesn't sit on him. I couldn't believe how big she is when she came out to that podium. What's going on here? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, it's Evan Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Hey, man, oh man, the country is so went the wrong way. It's really sad. You know, I mean, what happened to freedom of speech? What happened to, I mean, is you can't even be a parent and go in front of a school board and say, take the mask off the kids because you're a terrorist. The other country's going nuts. I don't get it. There used to be a time when people would have common sense. Oh my, nobody has any common sense anymore. They just want to be evil and do whatever they can. Elections have come.
Yeah.
And we better stop voting. Get all these bums out.
I mean, you know, the last 90 minutes, I've detailed some of the most disgusting, un-American things that this country has experienced from our leadership.
This is if it wasn't happening, you say, no way, not in America. But man, oh man, it's happening every day. Worse and worse. Stephanopoulos has been a piece of junk forever. And this whole crew, how they get in there. But yet there's a lot of people on their side that thinks it's wonderful what they're doing.
Oh, yes.
And how unless they overwhelm them in the vote and get these guys out.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Did you hit Tucker's deal about Biden and everything, man? Even Tucker,
yeah,
those guys, he's against it. I mean, Trump is against it. Everybody's against it, except these leftists, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh, man.
All right, Doug. I got to run for the break. Thanks for the call. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I know these are 6 stories we're dealing with. Our number is 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone that's already subbed, please like the video. I mean, my goodness. I mean, these stories, I mean, you guys got to be just as upset as I am. Let's see. right. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Got so many stories to cover. Be back. Coming back, guys. All right, 32 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. I can't believe the stories that we're talking about today. It's Monday morning, March 11th already, 2024. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Okay, if you watch me on YouTube, you have probably seen this. If you don't, you should. I got accosted by the supervisor of the polling location that I went and voted for President Trump at yesterday. I made a YouTube video of this. And, you know, it is so bizarre. You know, when I go and vote, it's, you know, I'm wear what I wear. I got my Make America Great Again hat on. I've got my Trump hoodie that I'm wearing now. It was in the 60s this morning when I left the house. I don't know what it is now, what it's going to be today, but, you know. And we have early voting in Florida now. It's the Republican presidential primary. There's only one thing on the ballot, and that's president. And yesterday afternoon, I went to vote for the greatest president ever in the Republican primary, and you all should too. We need President Trump to have a massive, overwhelming victory. He's going to win. Everyone's dropped out, but they're still on the ballot. I don't know how many people are on the ballot. It looked like 10. I didn't count. I couldn't believe it. I still don't understand why they're there. It's an electronic thing. It's a touch screen. They've dropped out. Why is Hutchinson there? Why is Chris Christie there? I don't get it. But anyway, when I go to vote yesterday, I make a YouTube video. You know, guys, I make YouTube videos of pretty much everything I do. And I made a video when I got there in my car, and I said, I'm getting ready to vote, did a whole thing on that, which you can see this in detail. And then I take my mic off and leave it all in the car, leave everything in the car, including my phone, because I make videos on my iPhone. I go and vote. I come back to the car. I get my mic on. I get my iPhone. And I walk out to the street and everything, and I'm making a YouTube video, a YouTube vlog about my experience voting early for Donald Trump. And I'm walking and I'm talking, and I can see, because I'm filming in my iPhone, there's a screen, so I can see not just me, but behind me. And this very large woman is walking, it looked like half a mile, because I was so far away from the polling location. I was in it was a public library here in Palm Beach County, and I see her behind me coming up, walking towards me, and I know what's coming. Because when I voted for President Trump in the last election, I had a similar thing happen in another polling location. I see the woman coming up to me, and I say on the video, I say, oh, she's going to come here and tell me I can't be videoing here. Watch. And the woman got very confrontational with me. And I stood my ground, I'm here to tell you. I stood my ground. And you go and watch the video. It's on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And it's like 78,000 people have watched this video already. And I was in shock. I was in shock that she was so adamant. You've got to stand up to these people. The people that are poll workers typically are Democrats. Who else does such things, right? And poll workers in general are nasty people. And this poll worker yesterday was triggered because I was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. And the reason I made the video, I did not know this was going to happen, obviously, but I made the video because I wanted people to know, at least here in Florida, I don't know about other states, I live in Florida, grew up in Florida, but you can wear whatever the hell you want to wear when you go and vote. And I have had people tell me that you can't wear stuff when you vote. And I had one poll worker, I went to vote once, and I had a Trump shirt on. This was in the first election. I can't remember if it was the general or the primary. And the guy that, you go in to get your ballot, he told me I couldn't vote unless I took my shirt off or turned it inside out. I said no. He says you can't vote then. The Republican poll watcher was a listener. He said, "Hey, Brian, I got you," and I voted. You can wear, and the purpose was for me to show that you can wear your Make America Great Again hat and your Trump shirts and vote. And this woman, she got triggered by this hat, I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. And you guys should watch the video. But these poll workers are nasty, nasty, nasty. And they tell you all kinds of things if you're a Republican. Okay? And they know, even if it's the general election, they know who Republicans are and not, because they pull up your thing. Years ago, I've told this on the air, but not for a long time. I went to vote when my daughter was a kid. She's 25 now, but when my daughter was a kid, I used to take her to vote with me because I wanted her to be into it. Anybody ever take their kids to vote? I go to vote. I take my daughter. It's a general election. My daughter's like 8, 9. And I have my daughter. We're at the place. I'm voting. She's with me. Poll worker comes up and talks to my daughter, not me, which, by the way, is a big no-no. You talk to the parent, not the kid. But this guy, he starts talking to my daughter, poll watcher. He says, "Excuse me, young lady, you have to wait outside." And I said, "She's my daughter." And, I thought he might have been confused. And he says, "You're not allowed to interfere with the voter. She's got to wait outside." She's like 8 years old. I said to the poll watcher, I said, "She's my daughter. She's 8 years old. She's not going to go wait outside by herself. I'm her dad. She's with me. She can't be here. You got to take her outside." And I said to him, I said, "You're the Democrat poll watcher, aren't you?" He didn't answer that question, but I knew. And I said, "Listen, she's staying with me." He says, "She can't. She's interfering with the voter." He says to me, "She's interfering with the voter." I said, "You are interfering with the voter. She's not doing anything. She's my daughter. You're approaching me. You're interfering with the voter." And it was heated. And he walked away, and I go to, I finished voting, and I take my ballot up with my daughter, and I hand it to the person. We put it in the machine, and he gives me the sticker. "I voted today." And then he says, "Here, little girl, you get a sticker too." This guy comes over and grabs the sticker and says, "She didn't vote. She doesn't get a sticker." The Democrat. This is how Democrats are. They're nasty when, they don't like Republicans, but we're the intolerant ones. During President Trump's last election, I go and vote, and I make a YouTube video of that too. And it was the general election, just like yesterday. Yesterday's was, you got to see the video I made yesterday, because I got everything on video. A lot of times things happen. You don't know things are going to happen. You don't have the camera going. And this lunatic, I had the camera running beforehand. So and I saw her, so I knew she was coming. When she was marching towards me, large march. You got to see the video. But in the last election of Trump, I go and vote, and then I go out on the street in front of the school where the polling location is. I'm making a YouTube video. I'm showing all the signs and doing all these things. And then I see the poll workers start to walk towards me. Old man. And I said right there, I was like, "Oh, this guy." And I had a confrontation with him too. I'm out on the street, and he's telling me why, because I got this Make America Great Again hat. The point of all this is of course, go to my YouTube channel and watch my video from yesterday, because But don't be intimidated by these poll. They are poll watchers. They are to observe. Poll watchers are there to watch. They're like the neighborhood watch, right? George Zimmerman was in the neighborhood watch, and then all of a sudden he thought he was a cop, and then, what happened? Watchers are there to watch. They can report, they can call the authorities, and they can report, but they're not to interfere with you. They're not to detain you. They're not to give you orders. They're not to tell you what you can and cannot do. They're there to watch. They're there. That's why they're called poll watchers, not enforcers. But the thing is this, that liberals have been brainwashed that if they see a Make America Great Again hat on, that person's a Klansman, that person's a Nazi. Well, I'm here to tell you, of course, none of that's true. I don't care what they think. And I'm glad that happened yesterday. Because I think people need to see, what Democrats are all about in this country. They are militant tyrants. They don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in free expression. They don't believe in anything that has free in it except, food stamps, welfare, and abortions. They want those free, everything, but nothing else. And their arrogance is they think they know what is right, and they do believe they're tolerant. They think they are so tolerant. In fact, they are so tolerant they can't tolerate anyone who has an opinion that differs from theirs. All right, we're going to take our last break of this hour, and there's much more to talk about. I'm Brian. We'll be back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Sloman's and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. Yeah, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 true oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloan Shield. And that's not all. Sloan's will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman Shield. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. We called him on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I'm 139 miles to the sky. I have broken tooth. Fixed tooth special temporary lasting 2 years. Put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. He's to me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Your exclusive invitation to adventure awaits you aboard Margaritaville at Sea. For a limited time, enjoy 50% off every cruise from quick and easy Bahamas getaways or longer cruise vacations on the all-new Islander, sailing to Key West in Mexico with electrifying live performances, chef-crafted cuisine, and sun-soaked activities for all ages. It's easy to see why Margaritaville at Sea was just named the top 3 cruise line for families by USA Today. Book your half-off.
Every once in a while, I got to take my hat off so people know I'm not bald and hiding a bald head like Tim Pool does with his cap.
Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor, and
It is a perfect day outside in Florida, not a cloud in the sky.
symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients. Let our medical team get you optimized and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6700
All right, coming back. All right, welcome back. 47 minutes after. At the top of the hour, after the top of the hour break, I'm going to recap the Nancy Mace story because that's a big story. I led the show. You know, you guys, if you get up at 6 a.m., you'll get the top stories I lead with. I don't build up, but I'm going to recap what I started with in the 8 o'clock hour because it's important. But first, I want to remind you guys, free shipping continues at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, on all items site-wide, no matter how large and heavy or how small it is. That's an amazing deal, isn't it? Absolutely. Plus, you get the special deal. Promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, free shipping on everything at MyPillow.com, plus whatever the discount price is. But you got to use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. Do you know why they're going after Katie Britt, who did the State of the Union response, and Nancy Mace? Do you know why? Why do you think? You know, even Shannon Bream, she had Katie Britt on yesterday and went after her. Why do you think? I'm not going to troll for calls on this, okay? But I don't do that. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to take, okay, line one, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And then if the third person gets it, these no talents will pretend they didn't get it because they don't nothing to say. I don't do that. But I want you to just think about this for a second. Why is the mainstream media corrupt establishment going after Katie Britt and Nancy Mace like they are? You know why? Because they're hot and people want to have sex with them. Okay, they're hot. Not just for senators. I mean, even if they weren't senators, you know, there are some people that are hot for a politician. They're really good-looking women. And they can't have that. You know, the Democrat women look like that woman that accosted me at the polling location yesterday. That's a Democrat woman. But, you know, the thing about, I'm serious. Because when there are cool, attractive women, they're supposed to be for abortion and against Putin and for the open border. And, you know, the conservative movement, the MAGA movement, has made its way into air. This is what Katie Britt and Nancy Mace are going through is what they put Sarah Palin through. Okay? When Sarah Palin was running, they were in a panic because she good looking, very sharp and conservative. And people that are attractive physically, okay, people that are attractive physically have more influence. They can better influence people, especially if they're articulate, like Katie Britt, Nancy Mace, and the great Sarah Palin. So whenever there are conservative, articulate women that are hot, they want to go out and destroy them. I remember it wasn't just what Katie Couric did. Annie Leibovitz did a photo shoot with Governor Palin when she was running, and she took pictures of her feet. And then, you know, and no one's feet look as good as they'd like, you know, and how do we get such pictures out there, you know? They put pictures of her feet out there to try to turn people off of Sarah Palin, you know. They did the stuff they did, and that's what's going on. And I saw Katie Britt on with Hannity and then Shannon Bream. And you know that way she talks? That's how she talks. I'm sorry that she has a sexy, sultry voice, okay? What, is she supposed to sound like Lucille Ball or something? I'm sorry, you know, gee whiz. I mean, look at Candace Owens. Now, she's a traitor now and was trashing Trump last year and everything. But Candace Owens, if Candace Owens was not hot, she wouldn't be where she is today. She's smart, she knows how to debate, and she's good looking. So, boom. That's part of being a success, you know. How many women have number one hit songs that aren't hot on occasion. But women, they got to have it all. They got to have talent and beauty most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. You know? And that's why, so they're after Katie Britt and Nancy Mace because they're good looking, they're smart, intelligent. And Shannon Bream, shame on her. So Shannon Bream on Fox News Sunday, I'm not going to play the exchange, I'm just going to tell you about it. I got the audio, but I'm not going to play it. It's not necessary. Katie Britt was talking about some old sex crime, and Shannon Bream, who likes to come off like a Sunday school teacher, says, now, you're not blaming Joe Biden for starting the border crisis, are you, with this old thing? She's defending Biden, Shannon Bream, on Fox News Sunday with Kate. He did not start the border crisis. He did not start the sex crisis. Do you understand that the sex trafficking at the southern border, over 90% of it was stopped by President Trump, maybe even more. And President Trump was involved in the largest shutdown of prostitution in the world when he did two things. Of course, what he did at the border, okay, that's number one. But he shut down Backpage. Remember this? Backpage. All the prostitutes around the world, not just in the United States, were being listed on Backpage. It was a website. And Trump had his Justice Department raid and shut down Backpage. Plus, he should have gotten a Nobel Prize just for doing that. Then he shut down the border. And Shannon Bream, you know, when she goes after, you know, Katie Britt and say, well, Biden didn't start this and it was there. President Trump started, he brought it back. He brought it back. You know, the sex industry, the sex trafficking had almost been down to zero with Trump, and Biden brought it back. And Shannon Bream should be ashamed of herself, the way that she treated Katie Britt on Fox News Sunday yesterday. If you see any clips of this, it'll probably be this one in the news, because this is the one that they'll be talking about. But I'll tell you, Katie Britt, I didn't know anything about her. I didn't even know her name before the response to the State of the Union. I thought it was a little weird. Then I saw a Hannity interview with her, and then I saw her interview yesterday. I saw it this morning online with Shannon Bream. I was very impressed with Katie Britt. And Nancy Mace did something really strange a couple of months back. I talked about this at the time. She was speaking to a church group. Remember this? I played the audio at the time, and she really screwed up. It was a morning event, Nancy Mace. She was speaking to a church group, and she started telling them how she just, at the hotel room, had sex with her boyfriend before she came there. Remember this? And I thought, oh, my goodness, Nancy Mace. I mean, what was she thinking? You know, especially a church group. She was on her way to leave, and her boyfriend stopped her, so they had sex before she came. She told the whole story to the church group. It was very bizarre, right? But then I saw her with Stephanopoulos, and I may play some of that again in the next hour. I played it at the top of the show, and she had a screw up with that, okay? She's not 100% in agreement with what most of us would be when it comes to abortion. But the way that she handled herself with George Stephanopoulos yesterday, Nancy Mace, was beautiful. She filleted him. She ended his career. It's going to be very interesting what happens today, tomorrow, and Wednesday with this Nancy Mace, George Stephanopoulos event. It's either going to be talked about this morning and forgotten, or we're going to get a little bit of a snowball effect with that. It's going to lead to George Stephanopoulos being in a lot of trouble for battering a rape victim like he did yesterday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Oh, hey, Richie the bus. I saw one of your bus drivers had a shootout with BSO in Fort Lauderdale over the weekend.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, look it up. I don't know all the detail. It was at one of the bus depots, the one in Pompano. Yeah. Anyway, what's on your mind?
Well, they put the new one in Pompano, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's where the shootout was. I saw it on TV this morning.
Here's the deal. I was watching Stephanopoulos yesterday, I was never so happy in all my life, but it proved one thing. Not only did he ambush her, but she's a fighter, and you're not going to put nothing over her. And she stuck to her guns. But his career is far from over, because what he proved, he's a hack. He proved it for the first time, that he showed that he's a hack. It was a total ambush. And these people are so deviant. I mean, it's incredible to me to watch. You see a State of the Union like you saw, and you see a
No, see, there's been a trifecta here. On its own, Stephanopoulos can go and victim shame, any Republican rape victim he wants, but we've got a trifecta going on here. We've got we've got him, the murder and probably rape, or at least attempted rape, of Lake and Riley, and then Biden apologizing to the killer rapist on NBC. So the trifecta, it's a miscalculation.
See, I disagree with you. I don't think he apologized to the rapist whatsoever. He fumbled into it. He apologized to his base, because his base.
By apologizing to the rapist for and killer by mischaracterizing him as an illegal.
Yeah, well, there's the word illegal. These people, they're great with their talking points. They are illegal. The word illegal is they illegally entered the United States. Undocumented. Listen, when you come off of a cruise ship, when you go on your wonderful cruise, and I hope you have a great time, and you've been on them before, when you come off of a cruise, folks, you got to go through customs when you're leaving with your suitcase.
Yep.
And they make you open up your document.
That's right. I can't say I'm undocumented. I'm undocumented. Do I get $5,000 a month? Do I get $5,000 a month?
No, but what happens is, if you don't have your passport, they detain you.
Yes.
They put you in a room and put you through holy hell.
Yes.
There's other people, they fly them into the countries of their choice and pay for it.
That's right.
This is the difference, folks.
That's right. All right, we're out of time for the hour, Richie. But look up that bus driver shootout. Okay, I thought maybe it's your old turf. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. 1-888-465-2631. Back after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3.
Very lovely temperatures back into the mid-70s, 60s overnight. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Earlier, multi-vehicle crash in West Palm Beach, now clear to the left shoulder along 95 south on Oakland Boulevard. We have a new crash now in West Palm Beach along Oakland Boulevard at Haverhill Road. The major expressways are now incident-free and still pretty much moving up at full speed between Boca Raton and Jupiter. This report is sponsored by HCA Florida Healthcare. Whenever you need them, you can try to.
Oh man, I tell you, these stories today are rough stories.
The company will make you feel your best. Find a care site near you at HCAFloridaHealthcare.com. That's Drop for this far.
Traffic in the service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Oh, Greg Kelly's awesome. I love Greg Kelly. Yeah, Greg Kelly's awesome. He's my favorite. Schmidt, he's my second favorite, but they're both awesome. But I love Greg Kelly and then Schmidt. Yeah, they're spectacular. Greg Kelly and Schmidt are the best on TV.
The Sloman-free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation is here. I'm Scott Shannon. How would you like to get a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera. You get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. Wish I had them for everyone, but the first
40 True Oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. Yeah, you can see your home right there in the palm of your hands. But that's not all. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, the motion detector, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies listeners that call 833-283-5050, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's right now for this limited time offer, 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. President Biden today takes the wraps off his latest effort to reduce costs for American families. A budget that includes savings on child care and prescription drugs, utilities, housing, college, and health insurance is to be released. A White House official says it's based on the priorities the president
Ooh.
in his State of the Union speech that include boosting manufacturing,
You know, I'm surprised. You know that the video of me with that poll worker, let's see, 79,000 views. I was really surprised when I woke up this morning how that video took off. But people need to see that. I've been wanting to rent a Tesla and drive it for a few days to work and do a video on it on YouTube. But I'm afraid I wouldn't know how to open the car up and drive it and charge it. But I'm thinking about doing it. All right. Oh, I turned the mic on and had the cough. Oh, boy. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, boy, lots happened over the weekend.
Well, the weekend.
I know.
To catch up with you, I was trying to get your reaction to Don's response to the State of the Union, which.
What was it? What are you talking about? The Trump rally over the weekend? It was in Georgia. It was great.
Unbelievable.
You know, before the rally, he met with the family of Lake and Riley. I saw the mom hugged him.
Right. Oh, it was devastating for Biden. When I watched Biden's State of the Union, like everybody else, everybody was expecting Biden to fall on his face, and he got through it without a major mistake. And
no, that's not true. He can't.
Well, given his limitations, which are many, but I didn't get all the nuance and all the details when I was watching it, because I was kind of half awake, half asleep. And when I saw what transpired with the controversy with the parents and the I don't know what you'd call it, I don't know, what would you call it?
I don't know.
The conflict between the.
Well, Biden over the weekend did what I believe is the most disgusting thing a president of the United States has ever done. He went on NBC News and apologized to the rapist murderer.
It was the coup de grace. It was like
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I wanted to play this again. If you're on hold, stand by, and I want to throw this out to the audience because I've been racking my brain for a day on this. I'm going to play the clip. So, Joe Biden, of course, said called the rapist murderer of Lake and Riley an illegal because of Marjorie Taylor Greene. On Friday, they had a damage control meeting. How can we do this? And then on Saturday, Biden does an interview with Jonathan Capehart and apologizes to the murderer who probably raped also, or at least was trying to. That's why he grabbed her, Lincoln Riley. And I'm trying to think of something a president has said, any president, and let's just stick from FDR to today, okay? I don't want to hear, oh, Miller.
Stan?
I've never heard a president of the United States say something as disgusting as this. Let me play it, and then hold on. Here we are.
Notice the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Lincoln Riley.
An undocumented person. I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they're both the country. The reason our economy is growing, we have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
Yeah. And again, so he's apologizing to the murderer rapist of Lincoln Riley. In fact, he wants to make sure that you know he doesn't think he's vermin. I believe all rapist murderers are vermin, but not Joe. Then he says that illegals built this country.
What an idiot.
Well, it's sick. Well, Steve, this isn't this. It's if you're on hold, stand by, because let me explain this. This isn't Joe stumbling on the baby steps at Air Force One and saying something stupid. They had on Friday, I promise you, a major meeting that Obama was a part of. Joe messed up. He called this rapist murderer of Lincoln Riley an illegal. Our constituents are very upset. What can we do? And they came up with this scripted play. Yeah, and I got to tell you, when I woke up yesterday morning and I saw this, it made me physically ill. I've never been so disgusted by an American politician in my life, especially a president.
It's just unreal. I couldn't believe my ears. And we're gonna get the full feedback on the effects of that moment today when you get to see the first polls. I'm assuming the first raft of polls will be coming out today.
Yeah.
And if it's at all close, don't believe them. And contrary to that, I thought that Biden did well on the first night, but in light of the second day, I think he destroyed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, let's take some calls. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm from Pompano.
Hey, Pompano.
So I was calling in. I was going to talk about the George Stephanopoulos thing.
No, you can talk about that too. I want to hear your thoughts on that too.
Oh well, I think. Well, first off, I just hate the fact. Like I know everyone's talking about Nancy Mace's response, but George Stephanopoulos' question is ridiculous because he's basing it off of E.G. Carroll. These people have these sham trials, and then they use those sham trials to offer legitimacy to the.
What Stephanopoulos did to Nancy Mace was bully a rape victim on television, forcing her to relive the violent rape that she went through to try to give credibility to E. Jean Carroll. It was really disgusting. And what I was,
Oh, yeah, E. Jean Carroll, who definitely made all that crap up, as opposed to Nancy Mace, who's probably, is like a legitimate victim. E. Jean Carroll is a nutbag.
And during that exchange with Nancy Mace, if you watch the video with her and Stephanopoulos, you can tell as it goes on, she's getting upset. She's visualizing her rape. She's reliving her rape because Stephanopoulos is battering her. It's not like E. Jean Carroll, oh, shopping, Rachel. We're gonna go shopping. And it's it's pretty sick that midget Stephanopoulos.
Double standard if they're talking to a black conservative, none of the rules apply. If they're talking to a woman like Tara Reid or a conservative who's been a victim of rape, none of the same rules apply. It's only Me Too or Believe All Women or Black Lives Matter when they're dealing.
Well, here's the thing, okay, about Nancy Mace. And I was telling you guys in the last hour, they're going after Katie Britt and Nancy Mace because they're hot. I mean, come on. They're good looking and they're young. And but George Stephanopoulos with Nancy Mace, I said this in the first hour, and I don't say this lightly because I believe it's true. Democrats believe women who are Republican, like Nancy Mace, when they've been raped, they're not victims. In fact, they really deserve it because they're conservative and they support Trump. So they brought it on themselves. That's absolutely. I had a stalker once. I've had many stalkers in my broadcasting career. I've had many stalkers. I've been physically attacked. I've had guns in my face. I've been all kinds of stuff. But there was okay. Well, so don't mean to interrupt you there. But there was this one. Not that he's interested. The boss came in. And he's at work on the clock. This one stalker. And this is one where the police were involved, right? And the guy says, "You're on the radio. You asked for this. If you don't want this, don't be on the radio." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I didn't know. Oh, okay. Well, then that's okay. I guess I'll drop the charges." I mean, I'm not kidding. And when he said it, he was serious. I was the bad guy. And I told you about this. So let me finish with this thing. So what George Stephanopoulos did with Nancy Mace, the reason this is significant, I was telling this to Richie, there's been a trifecta here. If this was a normal Sunday and he bashed a rape victim, Nancy Mace like he did, it wouldn't be a big deal. But we've got an illegal who murdered Lincoln Riley. We've got Biden, the first president of the United States to apologize to a rapist murderer. And by the way, I don't know that he raped Lincoln Riley. I know that that was his goal. That's why he snatched her. She might have fought to the death and prevented it. I don't know. I don't need to know. He's still a rapist because that was his intent. And then we got Stephanopoulos with bashing a rape victim, Nancy Mace, yesterday. So that's a trifecta. You put the three of them together with the rise of Trump that's going on right now, and it's a big deal. And Stephanopoulos, I'm not going to go through the whole thing now. You guys, if you go back and listen to the first hour, you'll hear me detail this. George Stephanopoulos began his career with Bill Clinton, and what his job was, he was part of a 3-member team. It was James Carville, Hillary Clinton, and George Stephanopoulos. And their job was to discredit and batter women who were sex assault victims or physical abuse victims of Bill Clinton's. And when Paula Jones came forward and said I was sexually assaulted by Bill Clinton and he beat me up, George Stephanopoulos called Tim Russert, the head of CNN, and other leaders in major media and got them to not air interviews with Paula Jones. And he did other things too. I detailed it all in the first hour, so I'm not going to do it now. But George Stephanopoulos began his career victim-shaming sex assault victims when he worked for Bill Clinton in Bill Clinton's first run for president. And now he's doing it again with Nancy Mace. And we're in a different place now than we were, okay, in 93. And I think Stephanopoulos, because of the Trump effect and Lincoln Riley, is in trouble. In fact, I think he was chosen. He's been on thin ice over there at ABC for years. Remember, he asked a question of Obama that made Obama look stupid about capital gains taxes. They almost fired him. He's been on thin ice over there. So they had him do with Nancy Mace what no one else would do. He's kind of like do or you're fired kind of thing all the time over there. He's an indentured servant. They have him do the dirty work. So I think what happened with Nancy Mace and Stephanopoulos is going to have a very negative effect on the future of George Stephanopoulos' career. I think he's in trouble. Now, that's not to say he's going to be fired by Wednesday, but this is going to stick with him. And when Trump comes back into office, that's probably when they'll fade him away into retirement. If you're on hold, hang in there. Let's take our first break of the hour, Steve, and then we'll come back and take some calls, all right? All right, we'll be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. We'll take some calls when we get back. If you're new, all the calls we take are screenless. When you call in, you just get put on hold. No one answers, and I answer them on the air cold. No one's, Mike back here doesn't answer the phones or anything. So all our calls, are screenless. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Jupiter Joe Thomas, I learned so much about him, about annuities. Now, and there's something else. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, something I learned from Joe Thomas. Now, of course, with annuities, unlike the stock market, your money's protected. It's safe. You're not going to lose it. All right? That's a big deal because when you retire, what you got's what you got for the most part. You're not out on the workforce anymore. And that you can generate income when you retire. It's amazing. You could save money on taxes. But this is something I did not know about it. I didn't know any of this about annuities until I met Jupiter Joe Thomas, and they're absolutely amazing. But here, listen to this. Do you know, Steve, you can actually leave your annuity to your kids, your grandkids, or spouse. You could, when you get your revocable living trust done with Attorney Barry Siegel, you can put your annuity in that trust, which is, it's a great way to give safe and secure money to your kids. Listen, Joe Thomas is offering free phone consultations if you mention you heard him on the show here, all right? Here's his number. And by the way, you can take advantage of these free phone consultations no matter where you are located. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. All right, the phones are ringing. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just a quick word. I mentioned earlier about the polls. The next poll that comes out, there are a lot of polls and they all kind of blend into each other over a period of time. But the next poll to come out is the big one because it's going to give you probably more than any other poll the real state of the race because they've absorbed all this stuff about the immigrant flub and all that stuff. And right about this time, they're going to be releasing the first polls that reflect what went on over the weekend. The most dramatic thing for me that occurred over the weekend was the...
apologizing to the rapist murderer of Lincoln Riley? No. And murderer.
Speech. The Don's speech, his first big speech. Which night was that?
Saturday night in Georgia.
I've never seen Don like that. In fact, to tell you the truth, he scared me to death. He went into all the details of the cases against him. He named all the judges and pulled out all the stops. I mean, he just held nothing back. And I'm saying, my God, these are the same judges that are going to be judging him in these cases coming up. But he didn't hold anything back. I hope he didn't get himself in trouble.
Well, I don't have the latest polls yet, but I do have this.
The audience,
Yeah.
right about now, as you listen in the morning, these results are coming over the...
Okay. Well, I know this. President Trump had a rally in Georgia over the weekend. It was a full house, thousands of people, thousands outside. Joe Biden had an event over the weekend. There were less than 100 who showed up. All right, let's go. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take the calls in the order in which they were received to the best of my ability. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Ryan from Atlanta. How you guys doing this morning? I'm good. I was just wondering, it just seems like, not Steve, Brian is speculating a lot this morning about President Obama and Joe Biden having a secret Friday staff meeting at the White House.
That's not what I said. That was not what I said.
Yes, you did.
No, let me. In fact, I said Biden wasn't a part of it. He's out of it. It is an edge.
What's the...
If you'd stop talking, you hold on. If you would stop interrupting every syllable, I'll explain what I'm doing, then disagree with it. So it sounds like meaningful disagreement, not just Brian Craig derangement syndrome. We know that Obama's running the show because Trump says so all the time, and he knows everybody involved. When Biden said illegal about this rapist murder of Lincoln Riley on Thursday, it caused a lot of problems. In fact, Pelosi was even talking about it that night. And then Saturday, this interview comes out. This is educated speculation that there was a meeting on Friday. How can we do damage control on this? Obama had to be a part of it because this is a big deal. And having him apologize to a rapist murderer is a very big deal as President of the United States. The upper-level people would be in on it. Jill Biden, Obama, Jean-Pierre, Joe Scarborough, those types.
Wait, hold on a second, guys.
Can you address what Brian just said?
At the meeting too? Did you say Joe Scarborough?
Why don't you just say something instead of just being like, why don't you? You're vacuous. You're vacuous. Your president, apologized to a rapist murderer. What do you have to say about that? What? No, not calm down. He apologized to a rapist murderer.
Answer,
Yeah, calm down.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I think he literally just said Trump told us that Obama's in charge. That doesn't make it a fact because Trump told.
Trump is in the loop, okay? He has sources. He's a president. He knows everybody. He's an insider. He knows. You're in Atlanta, Georgia. One of your Georgians was murdered by an illegal, and Biden apologized to the rapist murderer. What is your comment about what Biden did?
Trump inside the Democratic Party.
Open phones is on Friday, not Monday. Tell me how you feel as a Georgian about Lincoln Riley.
It's sad that she was murdered.
It's sad. I had to ask. Now, the President of the United States apologized to the murdering rapist for calling him illegal. What's your comment on that?
That's what I'm saying. You speculate. Did he apologize for saying? So.
Who did he call? It's not speculation. Let me pull it up. The guy, he's talking about the rapist murderer. Let me pull it up. Yes. Who apologizes to a murdering rapist?
Surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Lincoln Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used the language.
I shouldn't have used the language. He's apologizing to the rapist murderer.
That's outrageous, sir. You're looking bad, sir.
No, he's apologizing for the language he used.
He called him an illegal. He's a rapist murderer of one of your fellow Georgians.
But you just back out gracefully on this, sir.
I'm not going to calm down. Why should I calm down? When have you heard a president apologize to a rapist murderer before? Yeah, and Steve can't hear you. Goodbye. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
Insane. Now, guys, if you've not watched my my video of me voting yesterday and being accosted by that poll worker, check it out. But everyone, even if you've already watched it, if you could take that video and share it on all your socials, Twitter, Discord, Truth, Facebook groups, whatever other groups you're in, I'd appreciate it. You know, people got to know, you got to stand up to these poll watchers. Hey, what's up? Oh, man. How's your son doing? Oh, great. Good news. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I know when my daughter was little, she went in the hospital. It was awful. It's awful. When they want to admit your child, it's the worst.
Yeah, so what happened with him was St. Mary's was overcrowded.
Oh.
So we were able to, they gave him injections, antibiotic injections.
Yeah.
And I was able to keep him home, but I had to bring him back every day.
Oh, my goodness.
3 days for injections.
Wow. How old is he?
He's 11.
Oh.
So, but when you take him there, you got to wait it's a 2.5 hour ordeal.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the injections. So it's like, and then after the injections, you got to sit there for 30
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he's better now, though. That's great.
Yeah, so.
When your kid's sick, it's the worst. It's
It's hard,
it's
and
awful.
He's always had bad lungs, so. But, all good though.
Great. Pneumonia. It's the worst. I had pneumonia once, and I thought I was going to die. It was Democrats are soulless. They have no soul. You hear how they are. They're just soulless. Yeah, they're completely soulless. God, it is such a beautiful day outside. I mean, I've been right. I can't think of any. If you guys can, when has a president said something as disgusting as what Biden said about this rapist murderer? I can't think of anything even close to it. And set up a fake interview, you know. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve, you with us? All right, there are two openings on the board at 1-888-465-2631. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Listen, I quickly brought up that interview and listened to it, and that was disgusting what I'm calling him George Stephanopoulos did and said to that poor woman. And he knew before he questioned her what she...
That's why they had her on. Stephanopoulos had Nancy Mace on to put the scarlet letters of MAGA on her and victim shame her because she doesn't believe E. Jean Carroll.
That was my point, that it was deliberate. And that poor woman's voice, you could hear the deep hurt in her.
Oh, yes.
She stayed very calm and matter of fact and put him in his place. She did a superb job. That was wonderful. And I'm telling you, I can't believe that he can get away with that and not at least get done, because he should be fired for that. If a conservative ever did that to a liberal, you know what the...
Listen. There's certain things, that you don't... I was talking earlier to a caller about this. Years ago, I had this liberal old lady call up. Liberal. She was really nasty. I mean, she was really nasty. And she was going after me, and I started doing what I do. And then she mentioned she's a Holocaust survivor. She was up against the wall, so she dropped, so I asked her 2 or 3 questions to prove it. And as soon as I confirmed she was a Holocaust survivor, I told her, I said, you're a Holocaust survivor, you're in a special place, I'm not going to give you any more grief, thanks for the call. When there are certain people, Holocaust survivors, rape victims, and such, you don't pressure them, you don't shame them. They get passes. They brought Nancy Mace on to rape victim shame her. And when you watch that interview, I played the audio at the top of the show in the 6 o'clock hour, but when you watch the video, it goes on for about 6 minutes or so. You can see, like you mentioned, Jeff, she's starting to, because he keeps pushing her, this little midget, you could tell in her mind the rape is coming back in her mind, and she's experiencing. And he said, "Come on, you vote Trump. You were raped, and you vote Trump." I've never seen anything so twisted. It was sick. They'll probably give him a damn Pulitzer or an Emmy or something.
That's sadly true, Brian, because they will back each other up to the end.
Democrats are soulless.
Brian, conservatives would never do that. And if someone did do that, they would immediately call them on it and demand them apologize and step down, because we would not tolerate that.
Well, Jeff, I'll tell you this. Thanks for calling. You see, Democrats are soulless. They are without souls. And George Stephanopoulos makes about $30 million a year. And what happened with Stephanopoulos? Can you imagine? That's a lot. That's $12 million for every foot tall he is. The thing about Stephanopoulos, and this is true. I mentioned this earlier, but let me give some more detail. Callers on hold standby because it's important. In 2008, he's a Clintonista, and when Hillary Clinton debated Obama in the Democrat debate, he asked Obama a mild question, and it was Obama, when he was running against Hillary, was running on bringing back the capital gains tax. Pretty boring topic, huh? And Stephanopoulos gave an example of a leading economist who says if you bring back the capital gains tax, it'll cause all these economic problems and all this stuff. And Obama had no answer because he wasn't prepared, And he looked bad. And Hillary Clinton was actually credited with winning that debate. So what happened is the Democrats almost fired Stephanopoulos. They said that he asked a question that was inappropriate about capital gains tax. Can you imagine? And they didn't fire him. They were going to. They didn't fire him. Now they pay him $30 million a year, and he's got to do whatever the freak they tell him to do. Okay? And that's it. He's like chained to that little stool he sits on. And he'll say and do whatever they want him to do. And what he did yesterday was what he did to Paula Jones. I just forgot her name. I mentioned her name earlier. What was Bill Clinton's hairdresser that he had the 12-year, Jennifer Flowers? When Jennifer Flowers came out and said that she was used by Bill Clinton and she had a 12-year affair, remember when Jennifer Flowers released the tapes of the phone calls, the phone conversation she had with Bill Clinton, Steve? Remember that? George Stephanopoulos came out and said that she edited those conversations, that Bill Clinton said none of those things. Now, I want you guys to understand, this is before the internet, before things were digital. You couldn't, right now I got Adobe Audition. I can chop all kinds of things up. Back then there was no Adobe Audition. You had reel-to-reel tapes, and we edited with razor blades and wax pencils, okay? And I bet you, I bet you there's maybe one person in this radio station that knows even how to do it. Me, Al Knight, and one other person. It's a loss. You couldn't just do it back then, certainly not a hairdresser. When Paula Jones came out and said, I was sexually assaulted, remember, he exposed himself to her, and he beat her up. Remember, he bloodied her lip and said, put some ice on it. George Stephanopoulos called the head of every network and got them to not interview Paula Jones about her abuse story of Bill Clinton, which, by the way, he had to pay her for that stuff, if you remember. And you didn't have the internet and all these other outlets back in the 90s like you do now. And he suppressed that story. So George Stephanopoulos has made an entire career out of victim shaming, destroying women who have been sexually abused by Democrats. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, morning. This is Ingrid from Coral Springs.
All right, Coral Springs.
Yeah, I remember I was on the cruise the last time.
Oh, yeah. I remember you. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I got my sticker also. I went to Mace and went straight to the library, and I had a different episode than yours. I was nervous in the sense that everybody was so happy to see me and treated me so well. I was like, wait a second, are they just going to dispose of my ballot? But it went really good, so I'm happy.
Well, yesterday, and again, if you guys go to my YouTube channel, you can see a video of this, and I had no idea this was going to happen, but I got accosted by a poll worker yesterday when I went and voted for President Trump. And by the way, yesterday was the 5th time I voted for President Trump, the 3rd primary, 2 general elections. November will be the 6th time. And I got the whole thing on tape and put it up on my YouTube channel, so you guys check it out. I mean, it's... have you seen the video?
No, I should leave it.
Yeah, wait till 9 o'clock. Go and watch it after we're off the air. Don't do anything until 9. But I appreciate it. All right, Coral Springs, thanks. And I do remember you from the cruise.
Yeah, listen, I'm going up north now that I've voted to spend
Great.
with my daughter and grandkids.
That's awesome.
Steve, have a wonderful Easter.
We will.
See you while I'm there.
All right, take care, guys. And let me tell you. Yeah, and our cruise is coming up, Steve. It is the end of next month.
Counting the days.
It's so cool because I only, on the cruise, I wear like dinner jackets and I dress up. The rest of the year, I just dress like a hobo, and I'm getting my clothes together. So I'm getting my suits and stuff out, and I'm going through the pockets. I found money in one of the pockets. These clothes haven't been touched since the last cruise. They've got I found my room key, to the last cruise and everything else. It's amazing what's in the pockets. All right, listen, we'll take a break and be back.
The cold, hard truth.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the first look at gold and the other precious metals for the week. William Youngerman, how the metals starting off?
Metals are starting off pretty much flat right now, except for the white metals. They're all up. The gold, on Friday, closed up $19.20 after trading in a range of $2,155 all the way up to almost $2,200, up to $2,195. We closed out the week at $2,178.60, which was up $19.20 on Friday. Silver was down a penny on the close on Friday, closing at $24.26 on the week. Platinum was down $6 at $912, and palladium closed down $20 at $1,005. This morning, overnight, we've seen gold trading in a range from $2,175 to $20.
Oh, sorry, I lost. I lost you. We got you back, William. I'm sorry.
Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $2,175 to $2,183. Gold currently at $2,177.50. That's down $1.10. Silver up 14 cents right now at $24.40 the ounce, while platinum is up $15 at $9.27, and palladium is up $11 at $1,016. So we got almost to the $2,200, which was our projected price for this year.
Wow.
All in practically a couple of days last week. So
wow.
Market's doing very well on the precious metals, and gold holding very nicely, even at these higher levels now.
Absolutely. And, a friend of mine has been loading up on silver and telling me that they're getting some of the best deals on silver that they've ever seen. And it's true, right?
Yeah, right now I think it's a great buying opportunity with low premiums on the products and certainly historically one of the highest ratios to gold. So that gives us a real great buying opportunity on silver. It could double and still be half or still be less than its all-time highs. So great vehicle.
Well, what's happened is, during all the shutdowns and everything, the supply chain got so a lot of the silvers and things were in shorter supply. So there was this premium, and now the premiums are balanced out. And I'm not the expert, you are, but this is probably one of the best times ever to load up on silver. I mean, it's really great. All right, now William, oh, good, he agrees. See, I'm not the expert, but I got expert approval on that. All right, William Megman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, in the lobby, directly across from the bank lobby, online at williamyoungerman.com, or give him a call directly, 800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. It's going to be an exciting week for the metals, and, oh, man, gold doing good. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
Back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, I just checked again, just at the bottom of the hour break. Free shipping with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, site-wide at mypillow.com continues. No matter how large, no matter how small, no matter how light, no matter how heavy, it's free shipping site-wide with our promo code KANE at checkout at mypillow.com, including the special deal. Now, I will tell you, this free shipping offer will end without notice. I don't know when. That's why I check all the time, okay? So it's free shipping with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, site-wide at mypillow.com. You want to take some more calls, Steve? Yes. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? I'm looking for a Democrat, by the way, to condemn Biden's apology to a rapist murderer. It has not happened.
I'd also like to find somebody that's getting a peek at the first polls since the weekend's.
Okay. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jersey Mike from West Palm Beach. Steve, you're a really mellow guy. You know that? I love you. Talking about, you're quite welcome. Trump, I think, is probably one of the greatest statesmen the United States has ever had. He parallels, I think, Ben Franklin. Yeah, I really believe it should make, I think you mentioned this once before, it should make a $40 bill so he doesn't have to carry around 220s and put his face on it. That's what he...
And, and this thing, over the week, the Hungarian president came to Mar-a-Lago to visit President Trump, and I keep hearing people in the media, even we had a guy call us on Friday and say, this guy's a dictator and everything. Orban's been elected. I don't understand why they call him a dictator. He's been elected by the people of Hungary. I don't know. So why do they call him a dictator? He has elections, like real elections. He gets elected and reelected.
Let me say something about our news, how biased that is. I listened to this lady say last night that Trump wants to become a dictator. No, he said he wants to be a dictator for one day.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
It's all biased. And let me say one other thing about Biden. He's such an idiot that he could not find, I saw this on CBS News a couple of months ago, he could not find the east door that he walked out of that was about 25 or 30 feet behind him when he came out the east wing to do his podium thing, which he stumbled on the teleprompter besides. He could not go back to that door. He didn't know where it was. Two Secret Servicemen in brown jackets came up, put their hands in his armpit, and had to walk him back to that door. He could not.
That's a pretty bad sign. I watched, I don't know why I watched this. My wife wanted to watch it. I watched yesterday afternoon on Golden Pond with Jane Fonda and Henry Fonda. I don't like to watch anything with Jane Fonda. She should be in prison for her treason. But in the beginning of On Golden Pond, Henry Fonda goes out to the woods to pick berries, and he gets lost in the forest he spent his whole life in, by his house. And I was thinking about Biden, and and there was a video of him, and this was 2 years ago. He got dropped off in front of the White House, and he couldn't find the door, and he went and started walking on the side of the building. He was completely lost. It's not fun. He's got the nuclear football. All right, take care, man. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dan Johnson from La Crosse, Washington.
Hey.
Like those MAGA in the morning.
Yes. Did you say Van Johnson?
Nope, Dan.
Dan. Oh, okay. I thought, okay, like the actor. Okay. Or Dan. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, it just seems like the only people who have to suffer consequences for anything they do or say or any truth they expose is the Republicans. If you're a Democrat, there are no consequences for anything you say or do.
See,
Don't say that. That's why we're waiting for these first.
Well, we're winning.
I have a feeling if the first polls to come out today, if it's legit, they're going to see they didn't get away with it. They're going to get nailed. The opposite is true. If for whatever reason it comes out evenish, I don't believe it.
Right, because they hide everything. We can't expose it, boy. You go to jail.
Yeah. Well, listen. This over the weekend, it's going to be interesting to see how the media, because I don't know where the direction of the media is going to go, because the Oscars, the media love the Oscars for some reason. I mean, I only saw one movie, Oppenheimer. I cannot remember. I'm not kidding. The last time I was in a movie theater, I can't remember. And, but the Oscars will hijack a lot of the news today. But the two big stories today is Joe Biden apologizing to the rapist murderer of Lake and Riley, and the victim the victim shaming that George Stephanopoulos battered Nancy Mace, a rape victim, about rape and her rape.
He's been doing that for years for every.
Not like this. He brought Nancy Mace on and interrogated her like, you got raped, and how can you support this man with your? I mean, it was really tough to watch what that little midget did. Do you know that? And this is not a joke. This is not a joke. At ABC on Good Morning America, all the stools they sit on are all custom made, so Stephanopoulos doesn't look short.
He doesn't look like the mental midget he is.
Yeah. Well, no, he's a real midget. Yeah. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. I met at an autograph show once, Steve, the actor that played the mayor of Munchkinland and The Wizard of Oz. Remember the Wizard of Oz? Yeah, he was the mayor of Munchkinland, and I was talking to him during World War II. He trained pilots on how to fly airplanes in this country. He was too short to go fight, but he could fly, and he was showing me pictures of the special plane that he made with all that he could do. It was like Billy Barty. Let's see. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JJ from Mass. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, Steve. Thanks. How you doing?
Good.
Good. I was I'm doing well, but I'm beyond furious, really, about two things, Brian. Two main subjects today: the calling the illegal and having to apologize to a murderous people. I'm just sick and tired of the Democrats, playing Scrabble on the souls of Americans.
Well, I want you to slow down on that. I want you to slow down on this, okay? This apology that Biden made of the rapist murderer of Lincoln Riley, and by the way, if it turns out he didn't rape her, that was his intent, okay? They had a strategy meeting about that, and they thought that made Biden look good to apologize to the rapist murderer. I for the life of me...
That we're talking about, the bottom line result of that was very, very good. I mean, that did more damage to Biden than anything else, than even that stupid...
But it's still upsetting beyond imagination. The poor mother.
That doesn't mean that the fallout can't be incredibly positive.
And President Trump met with the mother, the father, and her best friend that called the police when she didn't come home before the rally in Georgia on Saturday.
I saw that. The thing is, evil thinks that evil is good. That's like this George Stephanopoulos stick-up-his-opulous here. He thinks that, you could see it in her eyes, Brian. I remember you saying that during the show, and I watched that video several times, and you can see it in her eyes, where she is just...
Nancy Mace.
Living it. Nancy Mace, and this, Stephanopoulos, this maggot,
Maggot works too.
Yeah, well, yeah, maggot, midget, the whole 9 yards with this guy. It's infuriating. And Joe Biden during the State of the Union, he was squinting so hard I thought he was channeling.
I tell you this. I'll tell you what. That little midget wouldn't talk to a male member of Congress that way.
No, he wouldn't. And like with Biden, I was trying to say that to me, when he squints so hard like that, I thought he was looking for a shadow so he could run back to the White House. It was the state of illusion. It was horrible. It was horrific. And
Who are Biden's constituents? When he apologizes to a rapist murderer, who's his constituency that he's trying to do damage control with? Rapists, murderers, what?
Yeah, all of the above. All the new voters are trying to...
Yeah. Yeah.
America.
Yep. All right, appreciate the call. All right, let's go. We are reaching the end of the show, but we'll do a bit of a lightning round, maybe. We'll see. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Hey, Renee.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. You're getting all exercised about this speculation about Biden apologizing.
It's not speculation. He did it. He didn't. He apologized to the rapist.
He's being sued because of it.
Now, rapist. He has not been arrested or charged. This guy's been charged with murder. No, he has not. No, he has not been charged with rape. That involves an arrest. The killer of Lincoln Riley has been arrested and charged with murder.
Got billions of dollars that he's owed. Okay?
That's not a charge. That's not a charge. Exactly. That's not a charge. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling? And what does that mean? Even if he did do it, which he didn't, does that mean it's okay for Lincoln Riley to be raped and murdered? What does that mean? What a weirdos. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Dave in Virginia.
Dave, go ahead, quick. We're almost out of time.
Okay, I was just telling you, when I went to the voting center here in Virginia, I had my Trump hat on, and inside the door, watching everybody coming in, was a veteran, and he said, "I like your hat."
Mm.
That's the only time anybody put me down or anything. You don't need to be raped out.
Yeah. Well, okay, I appreciate the call. Yeah, guys, go and check out my YouTube channel of this very attractive woman, a poll worker, coming after me yesterday when I voted for President Trump for the 5th time yesterday. The Florida Republican early voting is in effect, Steve. You can vote for Trump today if you want. It feels good. It feels good. I feel cleansed. All right, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio for 47 years. That's right. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3 HD3.
All right, guys. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone else, please like the video. All right? I'll see you later. Take care, guys. I got to run. Thanks for watching.